Okay, this is a reaction video. This is another from Henry Talks Tottenham, Henry Talks Football. I've been doing a lot of his recently. And let's face it, the day after the North London Derby is just as bad as the day of the North London Derby for a Tottenham fan. And like I said, I'm an Arsenal fan. I freely admit I'm an Arsenal fan. But I do not hate Tottenham. I did not grow up in North London. I did not grow up hating teams. Now, the only team that I guess I kind of hate is Manchester United, but that was from the Ferguson years. I just didn't like the way they conducted themselves, but that's neither here nor there. I really don't really hate them anymore either. But I don't hate Tottenham. But it is fascinating to hear what Henry has to say about Spurs, because right now they are 4 points from the drop zone, and like I say, it's fascinating. Let's see what he has to say.
So it's the day after the North London Derby defeat, losing both North London Derbies home and away 4-1, with Eberechi Eze just rubbing salt into the wounds of all.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Everybody says Eberechi Eze hasn't had a good season. Okay, I think he's had a decent season. I don't think he had a great season, but he hasn't had a bad season. But against Spurs, the team that he was going to go to, and then at the 11th minute, ended up going to Arsenal. He's just been absolutely outstanding.
All of the Tottenham fans around the world. I'm still a bit pissed off. I'm not really over it. But we don't really have time to sit here, look back at what happened, because we are in a relegation dogfight. And I think that defeat yesterday, for a lot of Tottenham fans and a lot of rival fans looking at that all over the socials, it is starting to really sink in that we are in a relegation dogfight. And we have got...
But again, I don't think you're going to go down. I think that Nottingham Forest and West Ham have tougher games to play than you do. You may not win all those games, but you're not going to. But they're not going to win all those games either.
Some incredibly tough fixtures coming our way with Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, Sunderland, and Fulham, all to play away from home. And at the beginning of the season, throughout the first 4 or 5 months, we had a very good away record. That is now declining at a very, very fast pace. We haven't won a Premier League game since the 28th of December. Since then, we've played 8 or 9 Premier League games with...
And I think you've lost number of drawn. So, I'm trying to think which game you may have drawn.
Without a win. We are in relegation form. Our home record this season, we've actually got a worse record than Burnley. Like every metric, every statistic, whatever way you want to measure the eye test, whatever way you want to look at and measure this team, we are struggling beyond belief. And right now, there is a very strong chance we actually could go down. There's 2 fixtures I'm looking at between now.
I think he's probably looking at Crystal Palace. I'm going to guess Crystal Palace and Wolves. I think he's looking. I think we'll see.
And the end of the season. And I said a few videos ago, the most important part of our season is between the 22nd of February and the 22nd of March. And so far, we've already lost 1 of those 5 games I'm just talking about. Plus, we have to play Champions League, last 16, home and away next month, which we will find out our fate on Friday. The likelihood is it will be not Borussia Dortmund. The likelihood is it will be Galatasaray or Atletico Madrid due to the scores in the last 16 qualifying games.
That's not going to be easy. Galatasaray is going to be a difficult match. They're a good team in Turkey, and Atletico Madrid, they play in about less than an hour from now. So we'll see how that opens, because Atletico Madrid is going to be a tough game for Spurs.
Galatasaray completely destroyed Juventus 5-2, and Atletico Madrid take a draw into the game at the Metropolitano Stadium. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am frustrated. I'm fed up. I'm annoyed. And I'm looking at the hierarchy of this football club, and it just goes to show you how many poor signings. The recruitment has been poor throughout the years. The mentality in the squad. You look at the clip that's gone around the socials of Igor Tudor trying to push the defensive line up and Van der Ven's walking. Now, I love Van der Ven, but you're captain on that day. You're the one the players are going to look at to lead this team. And
I think that a lot of that's been blown out of proportion, what you're talking about there. I don't think Van der Ven is ignoring Tudor.
I understand it's poor right now. I understand we're struggling, but this is where we're going to find out what we're really made of in the next 4 or 5 games, because we are, like I said, we're in a dogfight. Make sure you go down, drop a like on the video if you haven't already.
Yeah, please like, share, and subscribe for Henry as well as for me. I would appreciate it.
Are steamrolling our way towards 13,000 subscribers. We're just under 500 away. So if you do enjoy the content, please go down and hit that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And you can let me know your thoughts on today's topic, which is the relegation battle. Now, every metric, I did a video yesterday, more of an in-depth dive after the game with Sonny. And I don't like coming on here and being negative, and I don't like coming on here and having a rant and moaning, but there isn't a huge amount to be positive about. This is the Premier.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, and again, West Ham and Nottingham Forest have tougher games than Tottenham do. But, I think West Ham still have to host Arsenal. Nottingham Forest has some tough games as well.
Premier League table as it stands. Now, we are 4 points above the relegation drop zone. Nottingham Forest, I believe, could get something against Brighton this weekend, which, if we don't beat Fulham, we could.
Nottingham Forest can't score. That's their problem. They can defend pretty well, but they can't score.
Be 17th going into the game where we play Crystal Palace. Now, out of the running of games, in the next 11 games we've got between now and May, we play Wolves, Forest, Leeds. I think we play Brighton. I think we play Palace. I think we play Sunderland, and we play Fulham. So,
all those teams are on this list, from 10 to 20. Okay, so you've got some winnable games coming for Tottenham.
Of the next 11 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 11 are against the bottom 10. And you might be thinking, do you know what, Emery? You can quite easily beat Forest. You can quite easily beat Wolves, etc. We haven't beaten Wolves in 5 or 6 games, right? We haven't beaten Forest this season. They beat us comfortably away 3-0, right? We gave Hudson-Odoi a complete run-in against us. We are in a situation where if we don't start picking up points soon, we're going to end up in that drop zone. Now, West Ham might not necessarily beat Liverpool, but I do think that they are showing more fight and more character than us as it stands. When you look at our home record, if you go,
yeah, but that's difficult to say. I mean, West Ham is played reasonably well. Liverpool hasn't exactly set the world afire either, so we'll see.
At the top of the table and go table and look at home record, we're 18th in the Premier League. We have collected the same amount of points as Burnley at home this season. Burnley. When you look at our last 5 games, we're bottom. We have collected 2 points from our last 5 games and have lost 3 on the bounce. That is absolutely disastrous. That really is as poor as it gets. We've scored 6 goals in the last 5 games. The team we just lost to scored 4 against us on their own. So, I don't really know what to make of all of this. I really, really don't. We are fighting for scraps. The fan base, again, are at each other's necks. When you look at the quotes that have come out from certain players, the manager, it really is not a good look what's going on at this football club.
It really isn't. Look, they're starting, but again, you like I said, I do not want to lose the North London derby. I do not want Spurs to go down. I really don't. I am pulling for Spurs to stay up. Okay, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan. Okay, but like I said, I didn't grow up in North London. I didn't grow up hating Tottenham. Okay. Yes, I don't love Tottenham. They are not one of my favorite teams by any stretch of the imagination. I'm an Arsenal fan. I want to beat Tottenham every single time, but I don't want to lose the North London Derby. I do not want to do that.
It really, really isn't. You know, do I believe we've got the capability of going and beating Fulham? On their day, anyone in this league can beat anyone. But right now, we're coming off the back of 3 defeats to 3 big teams. 2-0 defeat against Man.
Yeah, you lost Manchester United, Tottenham, and Arsenal, and you got to play Fulham next. Now, Fulham is going to be difficult at Craven Cottage. It's going to be a difficult matchup there, and then you have to play at home against Crystal Palace, which is going to be a difficult match as well.
And United, we scored 2 goals in the last 3 games, and we have got to play. I mean, this run in here, I said that we draw against Fulham. I don't feel confident. They've just gone out there and beaten Sunderland away, and Harry Wilson looks like he is in very, very, very good form. Very good form indeed. I also look at the situation with regards to the Crystal Palace game. If we don't get a positive result against Fulham, that Palace game almost becomes a 6-pointer. We then travel to Liverpool away, Forest at home, and we've got the 2 Champions League games next month as well. So we've got 6 games next month.
Look, you guys have. I don't think you're going to beat Fulham. Okay, you may get a draw against Fulham, but I don't think you're going to beat them. You can beat Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is beatable. Okay, Liverpool is not setting the world alight. Okay, they can be had there, and Nottingham Forest should be a win for Spurs. Even as Sunderland may not be, Brighton not exactly setting the world. Wolves isn't setting the world alight. So I mean, you got some opportunities there.
You know, we then get into April where we play Sunderland, Brighton, and Wolves. Now, Brighton we drew, Sunderland we drew, Wolves we drew, Liverpool we lost, Fulham we lost, Forest we lost. The only team on those fixtures that we've beaten in the first fixture this season was Crystal Palace away, which is a 1-0 away win. And then you get into the other side, we play Aston Villa away, we play Chelsea away. That Leeds United game could be absolutely massive come the end of the season. And
Leeds United is playing very, very well at this point in time, so that's going to be a very difficult matchup, especially at that time. But Leeds may be safe by then and may not be playing as we'll see.
You look at the amount of players. Igor Tudor has said that we should have 2 games, 2 players back fit, in the next week or so. Like, I don't know who they're going to be. I imagine Pedro Porro and Danso, which will be big for us because then we can put Paulinho back in midfield and we can put Danso back next to Van der Ven, and Romero will be back in a couple of games. So we could go Dragusin, Van der Ven, and Danso, if it is Danso. And you look at the actual squad we had available yesterday. Now I know injuries play their part, but the difference in quality between them and us.
Look, again, I don't know what he expected. I don't know if he expected Tudor to take some magic dust and throw it, and all of a sudden they get this big new man, new player. Look, you're talking about the same players, okay? And Arsenal only has 2 injuries right now. Spurs has 13. That second goal by Spurs counted, and Gabriel had, look, the fact of the matter is Gabriel got pushed. Okay, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's soft or not, is irrelevant. He got pushed, okay, and he did what every other player does in this league. If you get pushed, you go down, okay, and you draw the foul. That's how it works, okay. And you say, well, he in other moments it did. Hey, different referees, different eyes. It's interpretation. If 2 hands shoved, that's it. Case closed. Next case.
They're light years clear of us right now. And you think 5 years ago, we've spent more money than them in the last 5 years. And they've brought in £100 million Declan Rice. They've brought in Eberechi Eze. Of that team, we spent 40 million on Van der Ven, 40 million on Gray, 40 million on Gallagher, 60 million on Simmons, 60 million on Solanke. You know, we dropped 50, 60 million on Kudus.
He also sold Harry Kane for 100 million euros as well.
Like the recruitment, we've done 50 odd million on Tel. Look at the players we've got out injured. And in terms of which players are going to be back in the next couple of weeks, well, Odebear's out for the season. Davies is out till mid to end April. Your doggy's back mid-March, but by the time he's fit, probably will be the end of March.
But Romero will be back in a couple games, so I think he has two. I think he won't be back for the Fulham game. I think he's back for the Crystal Palace game. He should be back, or Liverpool.
March. I think it's going to be Danso and Pedro Porro. Like, it really is that bad. And the likelihood is this season, if we do go, we're not getting Europe next season. So Van der Ven and Romero are both going to want to leave. So what do we have to play for? Why would any top-tier player want to join Tottenham Hotspur in the summer if we're either going to be in the Championship or just about surviving in the Premier League?
Look, you're not going to... Look, the fact of the matter is, it's going to be dependent on the manager that you bring in, okay? If it's not going to be Tudor, it's going to be dependent on the manager that you bring in. That is going to be the key for Tottenham. Who are you going to bring in to manage this club and it can convince the players, hey, you're not going to get Europe next year, this season, but we are building towards it.
League. Sunderland have come into this league with, with a situation at hand where they've got so many new signings, and as it stands, they're 7 points clear of us. Crystal Palace are 6 points clear of us. Brighton are 5 points clear of us. Leeds United, who have got nowhere near the amount of revenue streams going into their club, are still 2 points clear of us. It's absolutely unacceptable. It really, really is.
And Leeds United play Manchester City on the weekend.
We only have ourselves to blame from a hierarchy perspective, because if we would have sacked Thomas Frank in October, November, if we would have done that and brought in a manager, if we would have brought in Igor Tudor 2 months ago, we may not be in the situation we're in now. We've only won 7 of 27 games. If we don't beat Fulham, that is going to be a 25% win rate. We've only actually got one more win than West Ham this season. We've got the same amount of wins as Forest this season, the same amount of wins as Leeds United this season. But we've got 12 defeats. That is so bad. That is honestly horrendous. It really, really is. When you look at last season, like we finished 17th. This year, like it's really not looking good.
Look, you finished 17th last year, and everything was looking good. You guys played Arsenal, I think, in Hong Kong and beat them 1-0 in the preseason. Like I said, I didn't really care much about that. That was not a big deal. I think York has made his Arsenal debut at that game, like last 11 minutes. But things were looking decent for Spurs at the start of the season, but in the end, it's all gone pear-shaped. It's all gone bad.
Look at we haven't beaten Arsenal in 8 games. Take away the win.
That was a club friendly. It was 4-1, then the club friendly, then 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, the draw 2-2, 2-0, and 3-1. That was. You guys have the 1-0 win in Hong Kong at the club friendly.
We had on pre-season, the friendly, 4-1. 4-1 in November. 2-1. 1-0. 3-2. 2-2. 2-0. 3-1. I've beaten us since 2022. And bearing in mind they beat us 4-1. I mean, look at that.
Long may it continue, my friend. Long may it continue.
Look what we used to do. 3-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 1-1. Now it's just, we're in a rut, guys. We really, really are. Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think we'll stay up? Do you think we'll go down? I'm just losing all sorts of faith and anything that I had. Like, yeah. I don't know, guys. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, please click like, share, and subscribe for Henry as well. So look, I get it. Okay, it is difficult, and this is what I've been talking about. You know, Spurs. Like I said, I hope they stay up. I do not want to lose the North London Derby next year. Please stay up, Tottenham. Long may you've played Arsenal twice. You don't have to worry about Arsenal anymore. You don't have to worry about playing us anymore. We're out of your picture. That's for next season. But stay up, Tottenham, please. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me. And have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.